I've been reading The Secret History of Bigfoot by John O'Connor. Well, listening to it. I spend a lot of my time driving, and audiobooks are one of my salvations. O'Connor's book is great, by the way. Just fascinating meditation on why we believe, not just in Bigfoot, but why we believe in all the things that we believe. UFOs and the Loch Ness Monster and conspiracy theories. Anyway, chapter 5 is set mostly in Arkansas, which happens to be my home state. O'Connor's taking a break from Bigfooting to talk about the search for the ivory-billed woodpecker, which is this bird that is, or was, native to the southern United States and lives, or lived, depending on who you believe, in Arkansas, among other places. The last confirmed sighting of the ivory-billed woodpecker was in 1944, though there have been several claims of sightings in the last 15 to 20 years. For O'Connor, the ivory-billed woodpecker offers a sort of parallel for Bigfoot. So these birds lived in these ancient hardwood forests that we used to have in the Delta region of Arkansas. We're talking about trees that were thousands of years old. If you've read Richard Powers' novel Overstory, you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about. And if you haven't read Richard Powers' Overstory, well, that needs to be your next project. Pulitzer Prize winner, after all. So as you might already have guessed, one of the main reasons the ivory-billed woodpecker went extinct, if it did, is that all of these forests were clear-cut in the 1970s. It's this terribly sad story, the loss of these amazing trees, these whole forests. And O'Connor talks about the fact that, when Europeans arrived here in America, we had the whole continent was old-growth forests. And something like 97% of those old-growth forests in America are just gone. So here's the thing. One of the reasons the southern forests were clear-cut is because the price of soybeans suddenly doubled in the 1970s. All these landowners in Arkansas and Mississippi cut down all these forests to plant soybeans. Suddenly it was the cash crop. The reason the price of soybeans rose so high? All of these 1970s hippies who discovered tofu as a substitute for meat. In other words, let's stop cruelty to animals. Let's all go vegetarian. Let's do tofu instead. So here's the thing, and I think at 54 that this is the philosophy of life that I finally come to. We decided to help animals, nature, and we wound up destroying these old growth forests, nature. And that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? Everything I know about life, and I've got a PhD from a major university, everything I know about life, politics, art, spirituality, health and medicine, parenting, nutrition, exercise, science, this is the whole thing. That there's always another side to the story. Whenever we think we're accomplishing something, most of the time it turns out we're not really getting anywhere. My wife and daughter and I went to an animal shelter this morning. We were donating some dog food, cat food. We'd been to Sam's wholesale. I'm from Arkansas. My daughter and some of her neighbor friends had a lemonade stand, and they made, $350 that they decided to donate to the animal shelter. So we'd taken all of this stuff over to the animal shelter. And we're going on the way home, and my wife says, why do animal shelters need so many donations? Why are they desperate for donations? Why doesn't the government give more money to animal shelters? Which is a good question. But when you start thinking about it, the moment that you do that, the moment that you give money to animal shelters, someone will bring up the point that giving money to animal shelters takes money away from the homeless or from schools and teachers. Are animals more important than children and learning? The point is, success in one place means a failure in other places. There's a positive side to that. I'm a writer. And the first thing you learn if you're a writer, an artist, is that when you're writing or making any kind of art, failures can be your best successes, and successes can be failures. Problems are solutions, and solutions are problems. It's just this big circle that we go around in. And in a very sort of Zen kind of way, that's terribly depressing. It's the myth of Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill, only for it to fall back down. On the other hand, there's something very peaceful about it. There's something very, life just is. There is no moving forward. It just is. Is that too bleak? Anyway, that's what I've come to as sort of my philosophy of life. But I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.